Do you ever think about the Roman Empire?
All the time.
Why? What are you thinking about it?
Well, because we're in those times right now. Everybody's preoccupied with sports, movies, work, you know.
What was it you said about bread?
Well, all right, the common people, Roman Empire said that everybody was equal. Everybody had a chance. But it wasn't. The rich got richer and the poor got poorer. And they worried constantly about people rioting. Because they knew that the common man, the common people, could take over at any time. So they would bring them into the Colosseums, and they would give them free grain. They would give them bread. They would give them wine, whatever they needed to fill their bellies and block their minds from what they were angry about. They would watch plays. They would watch fights with the gladiators, sometimes for months on end. And that's where we're at right now. And I think about it all the time because so many people are preoccupied with their favorite football team, their favorite actor, actress, singer, and they just don't even think about what's being taken away from them. As long as their bellies are full and they're happy with what's going on, they just let it continue.
Wow.
So surprisingly, a lot of people are surprised that even if they have a specific husband that seems to be very, I don't know, introvert, they are thinking so much, they care about society. But wait, there's more. So it started like this on TikTok and it got to like 1 million views.
What about the Roman Empire?
Just anything about it.
Probably not a lot. Why?
Not a lot. When was the last time you thought about it?
Maybe a week or two ago? The Roman Empire was a very big part in history.
So how often do you think about it?
Not a lot.
How often? Once every month?
Maybe 3 or 4 times a month.
You think about the Roman Empire once a week.
It has a lot of big, like, stories and lessons, like, within the Roman Empire of what to do and what not to do. So, yeah.
So you think about the Roman Empire once a week?
Sometimes, yeah. But not necessarily.
It's like certain people, certain ladies don't understand it.
Like often?
No, I wouldn't say often.
But you like think about it?
Sometimes.
Like ruminate on it?
Depends on the topic.
Do you see things and it spurs like you want to think about the Roman Empire?
I just often think about different periods of time in history of which they stretched across a large portion.
Huh. Okay, thank you.
In architecture, religion, armies, navy. They built an entire world-dominating society. Much of what we know about the world that we have today exists from the Roman Empire and unchanged. Our calendar is from there. Most of our planets are named after them. Yeah, everywhere there's Roman stuff everywhere.
So you're just out here thinking of the Roman Empire like every day?
Most of the lot of the time.
And there's more. They laugh at men that actually look different on the outside, but they actually think about the future, how we need to handle their stuff, and we're just laughing stuff for some odd reason.
How often do you think about the Roman Empire?
The Roman Empire?
Yeah.
I was thinking about that long ago.
No, you weren't then!
On the way up to work, actually.
No, you weren't! So how often do you think about
No, not
it?
often, but, however, when we were driving to work and there was the road
How
very
often?
straight, well, I don't think about often. The Roman Empire?
Yeah.
I think about many empires all the time. What time?
All the time.
Oh,
As in,
certain empires, yeah.
like once a week?
Well, at least more than that.
More than once a week?
Former empires of the world, of course. The Mongolian. Why?
Stop it! No! Do you really?
What about history, of course?
Oh my god!
As an intellect, of course you must. You're joking? There's nothing wrong with being intellectual and talking about history. I'm fascinated, but
I've
what?
not thought about the Roman Empire since I was in like year 4.
And that's why I'm more intellectual than you.
Like these days you just have to think about gender issues, oh my god, nobody would be laughing. But when you actually care about things that comes a little more natural, that you kind of respect, nobody sees that.
A couple times a week.
Are you f***ing kidding me?
Yeah.
What do you
Thought
think?
about him twice today.
You thought about the Roman Empire twice today?
Yeah, I got broccoli in my teeth.
I don't care if you have broccoli in your teeth. This is huge. Do you know how normal you are?
I studied a lot of Roman history at college.
Apparently everyone did. What do you think about when you think about the Roman Empire several times a week?
Either think about like the historical context of something,
Mm-hmm.
or I'm thinking about how their application of, you know, let's say like aqueducts is like applicable to now.
Wow.
Yes, ladies, men think way more than you think. We have barbarians invading our borders, inept and corrupt leadership, and terrible moral degradation. The Roman Empire fell because of very similar things. But hey, let's go to the expert at Huffington Post. I'm a Roman Empire expert. Here is why men are so up. To be honest, none of the answers the men gave in their videos are satisfying to me. It has a lot of big stories and lessons of what to do and what to do, one woman's partner says, but so does the Real Housewives. What the heck are you talking about? And I cannot tell you how unsuccessful my attempts to get my partner involved in that have been. Well, maybe you should have watched The Gladiator with your husband. Maybe then he would actually talk to you.
What is the female version of the Roman Empire? Like, what is something random that we all think about on...
Yeah, I think it's being murdered or assaulted.
Thankfully, Associate Professor of Classes and the head of the Center of Classical Studies at the Australian National University, Killian Davenport, spoke to ABC Australia to offer some clarification. There is so much to ancient Rome literature and beautiful poetry, but that actually isn't what's scoping up. Instead, he finds the common themes are sport, armies, and sex.
For everyone asking, what's the girl version of the Roman Empire thing? Isn't it obvious? Isn't the answer to that question trying to figure out what your body looks like? Body image issues, body dysmorphia, that's what it is for girls.
I'd say once or twice every 3 months.
Okay, why are you thinking about it that often?
Whenever I see like an old church or concrete, I think like, wonder what that must have been like to, you know, build a chapel in the Roman Empire.
Okay.
Or like, even when you watch like a football game or something, it still like has that like Colosseum feel to it.
All right, thank you. Thank you for your help.
Welcome.
Do you want to know what the female version of the Roman Empire is to women? It's unsolved murder cases, and what are you going to do in the middle of the night if someone tries to break in?
How often do you think about the Roman Empire?
Twice a week.
Are you joking?
You filming me?
Yeah.
Twice a week.
Why?
Not everybody.
Are you taking the piss?
Straight roads, spas, amphitheatre. Why would you know?
So you actually think about them twice a week?
Maybe 3 times, depends. It's a very important part of our civilization.
This is, of course, a very particular slice of complicated era. Davenport asks, I think the men are thinking of, you know, Gladiator, who were like sports stars. They're not envisaging themselves as enslaved people. Some of the texts are talking about, you know, Rome was the best, but you must also think about the terrible effects of conquest and colonization. And you can already see that changing the subject. We're not saying that it's a great time.
There goes 2 exits to the left. My nearest exit is still in front of me. Well, that guy looks kind of suspicious. Make sure he doesn't get too close to her.
Make my way downtown, walking fast, this person home.
The fact that they conquered the world, they owned everything, they had gangster immigration, they had feminism, all this stuff. And it was everybody had a voice. And I'm not saying that is bad, but it is bad that everybody has a voice and they start fighting each other and nobody unites. So the bigger the country becomes, more problems you're gonna gather together.
How often do you think about the Roman Empire?
Why is this a thing? This was on Barstool. It's probably like 3 times a week. Why?
Like, actually?
Yeah, the fall and rise of Alexander the Great. Of course I think about it.
Okay.
Trey, how often do you think about the Roman Empire?
Like, the Nicki Minaj album?
What?
My male informant, who chooses to remain anonymous, seems to be partly confirmed the hyper-masculinity theory. Beta! He shared that a part of the reason for his obsession with the empire is due video games like Rome Total War and Assassin's Creed. Why are you asking people that play video games? Come on, man, do you really think we are that stupid?
That's my opinion!
What about the many English words of French origin? When he looks at a number, does he think of ancient Middle East? Why think about it all? If I never think about pretty much any hysterical conquest. Fine! You want the honest answer? I just really liked the 2000 film Gladiators. I liked it because it was a father that lost a wife and a son. He was trying to fight for a family, and then the boss wanted to choose this person because a soldier is not political and not corrupted, and he wanted to choose that person, and the corrupt politician killed him before he had the chance. They thought they were overconfident, and he plunged a knife in the bad guy. Not condoning it, YouTube, just chill your ass. And certain people would just say, you know what, you just think like that because you're poor and you have time to think. That's a good thing. Not at Coliseum or Netflix to keep our mind shut, right?
Like, what is something... I might be biased because of the specific corner of the internet that I inhabit, but I'm gonna go ahead and say that the answer here is murder. Like, what is something...
Ellie, you were my best friend. We hooked up, and then you hooked up with my brother, and then everyone expected me to act like I was fine. And I wasn't.
Like, what is something... Like, what is something...
A little bit of, like, sandcastle building. Oh, Jesus Christ, just get it off!
And the fact that she's an expert, she knows the history, but she sees it from a weird lens. And I have one working eye, and I see it better. I'm like, bruh, a man can even talk about that because they're ashamed because girls are laughing. Oh, you're thinking so much. Come on, man. Do you see how hypocritical this world is? We live in a patriarchy? My ass. No, we don't live in a patriarchy.
I'd say, I don't know, probably like 3 or 4 times a week I think about it.
You're kidding.
Oh.
No, you don't.
Why?
What do you mean 3 or 4 times a week you think about the Roman Empire?
Well, that was going on back then. The Roman Empire was going on in times of the Bible. Talk about Roman Empire in the way they settled disputes, gladiators, 2 people in a Colosseum and said fight to the death. I think about like...
Why do you think about the Roman Empire?
It's a very interesting time. You don't think so?
This is blowing my mind.
Well, you never think about it. What do you think about then?
I read the article. It's amazing how the writer turned thinking about Rome into a race and gender issue. All I'm saying is what happened to Rome is going to happen to Western country, and some men see that. If you don't see that, cool. That's it.
Because there's something deeper here.
Oh, here we go again.
The Washington Post literally published this an hour ago. Interviewed Hannah Cornwell, who's a historian of the ancient world. He said, the first thing that comes to mind is an image of the Roman legion, the imperial eagle, and that sort of military aspect, along with gladiators, which have a long association with masculinity and power. Since at least the 19th century, historians have tended to view ancient Rome through the prism of politics and warfare, in part as a result of their reliance on elite masculine sources. Let me ask you this. What time period do you know of that has a long association with femininity and power?
Let me know what you think in the comment section, because I just think the old guy in the beginning, he was spewing some fact.